Faith Talk is brought to you by Pastor C.L. Reeves Ministry. Let's join Pastor Reeves.
Hi, Pastor Reeves here from Faith Talk from the Pastor's Study. We have our special guest this afternoon, the Director of Gadsden Commercial Development Authority, Director Lisa Osborn.
Hi there.
Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Now tell us a little bit about Lisa Osborn.
In what regard? Business or?
Are you homegrown from Etowah County?
Yes, born and raised in Gadsden and Etowah County. Yes, I am.
And you?
I have two daughters, Emily, who's 28, Aaron, who's 24, both married, two awesome son-in-laws. So very, very, very blessed.
Yes.
Very blessed.
Yes. What school did you?
Emma Sansom.
Emma Sansom.
Class of 1978.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And someone said that you went to Georgia Tech.
I did. I had the opportunity through my job, my current job, to attend Georgia Tech, the Economic Development Certification. It's about a 4-year program, and I've completed that. So it was fun, but it was hard. So.
Yes. Tell the viewing audience, what does the Economic Development Board, what does it do?
What do we do? Well, the Gadsden Commercial Development was formed in 2004 by the City of Gadsden. It's a non-profit organization, and basically what we do is we help to act as a liaison between the city and the development community, i.e. Developers, brokers, people who are looking to locate retail or commercial business in Gadsden. I'm their contact, and I work with them to help bring them here.
How do you go about doing that to lure, if you please, nationwide change to Gadsden? How do you do that?
Well, the key is to work with developers, and you form relationships between developers and brokers who are interested in this area. Say I'm contacted by a broker who may, and I'm going to use a lot of lingo here and I apologize, but they may be the tenant rep. They may represent, say, AT&T, Target. They've been charged by the company to help find locations, say in Alabama. So the brokers will contact me because Gadsden's on the radar because we send out information, and then we just start a dialogue, and I send them demographic information about our area, the population, average household income, the amenities of our area. College is very important to a lot of retailers, and we're very blessed because we have Gadsden State, we have the University of Alabama, Jacksonville, and all those schools that we have high attendance. So that's just one of the aspects, but it's a very, each call's different. So each I'm asked different things from different people.
Yes.
So.
Tell me, I understand that your office just recently moved.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Well, Kay Moore with Gadsden, Downtown Gadsden, and I have shared offices for, I think she's been with Downtown Gadsden about 3 years. We used to be at 408 Broad Street.
Okay.
And we had those of you who are familiar with downtown, the former Runts restaurant had sat empty for many, many years. So Kay and I decided to talk to the mayor about how best to utilize that space, and we came to the conclusion that our offices being there would be the best use for that space. So we had an architect draw out a plan and worked up a budget, and we presented it to the mayor. And utilizing city employees to do the build out, it took them about 6 months, and they built our offices. I think it was about $32,000 it cost to build out those offices. And now we're at the former Runts building, and we're very, very happy. Kay and I are. So it's worked out well.
Wonderful. Another question. Do you work closely with other organizations in the county?
If asked, I mean, you know, like I'll call the chamber for information, or the chamber will call me for information. Kay and I, again, we work very well together. We do totally different jobs. We laugh because Kay gets to tell you everything she does. I don't get to tell you much of what I do because of confidentiality. But I think that I work well with actually, a lot of times I'm asked for information about other municipalities and within Etowah County, and I happily give that information out, because if it doesn't go in Gadsden but it goes in Etowah County, we still all benefit. So I'm here, although I'm technically working for Gadsden.
Yes.
I'm here for the whole county.
I recognize that there's some things you can't talk about, but tell us about some of the things you can talk about in terms of new business coming to Etowah County.
Well, I can talk about the things that have already located here. J.C. Penney's, for example, they looked at us, and then, you know, you had Belk's buying out Parisians, and Belk's moved. Well, J.C. Penney's came to the mall and they tore out, added 20,000 additional square feet to the mall. And as you can see, it's totally different. Books A Million, we worked with them to help bring them here. I have a really good relationship with Preet that owns the mall, and they now have a new mall manager, Carver Boynton, who is incredible. If you get a chance, you really need to talk to Carver. But we work hand in hand to help backfill or help fill some of their locations. You've had Kirkland's, you know, that moved out of all malls nationwide, and it relocated in where Hobby Lobby is, in the former Walmart location. Let's see, we've had Marvin's. You know, we've had a lot of businesses that moved from one location to another, but they were going to leave the county. So it was very, very important that we help find them another location so that they stayed within the county. The fish market, you know, we had the mangoes, you know, we had all that going on at that location. And George Saris came in and has opened the fish market, and they're doing well. Let's see. Tuesday mornings, they located in the back of Hobby Lobby. They're kind of hard to find, but if your wife or someone will know about Tuesday morning. Stevie B's Pizza, Tractor Supply. Gadsden Regional actually did a $30 million renovation and added on to their hospital. And that's something I want to point out. When I'm talking to developers and people around the nation about coming to Gadsden, hospital care is very important. And the hospitals have stated that 40% of their patients come from outside of the county, which truly makes Gadsden a regional area. And that's what we continually talk to developers about, is that Gadsden's regional. We pull from other counties that surround us. So when someone's looking at us, we can tell them with all certainty that they're going to pull from Cherokee, DeKalb, part of Marshall, you know, from like, not quite to Gunnersville, but from Albertville down. There's a lot of different counties that we pull from. Now, we don't pull from Birmingham, and we don't even pretend to. So that's another feather in our cap. We just have to get them to realize how regional we are. The problem is, you know, when the recession hit, a lot of retailers pulled back. They're now coming back to us. So 2009 was not a happy year. It was a hard year.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a couple more, but my time is up.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. It's my pleasure. And I do hope, and I'm very sincere about this, hope that you can come back again, because I wanted to ask you about the future. What do you see in the future? But I can't do that. But it's been great having you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so very kindly. We'll be right back after this message. Welcome to Faith Talk. I'm Carly Reeves. I'll be your host. Today we have our special guest, the director of the Etowah Chamber of Commerce, Tom Quinn. Mr. Quinn, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Pastor. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, too, for coming. Tell the viewing audience, if you please, what do you do as director of the chamber?
Well, the Chamber is kind of a multifaceted organization, as I'm sure some people know. We are involved in various parts of the economic development process. In our community, you have an industrial development authority that's separate. You have, I think you just had a person on, Lisa, who works in the downtown and works on commercial development. Our main part of the economic development process has to do with retiree development, providing what we hope will help by bringing statistics and data together, and we share those with other organizations. And we also work really hard with small businesses. Small businesses have a very, very difficult time now. When things get tough, they have the most difficult of all because they don't have the resources and they have to stay in their stores to try to make them work. So we try to help them by generating new ideas that they can use. That's the economic development process that we're involved in. We're also, I guess you could call us the front door of the community, because when people usually come into a chamber, they will come into the community, they will come into the chamber. We get around 15,000 phone calls a year where people will call and say, what about so-and-so? Some of them are very, very simple. Some of them are very complex, and it involves research, and we make sure we take care of that. I said phone calls because it is phone calls in some cases, but now we're online, and so a lot of it comes through the internet, and a lot of times people will come in and personally and do it. But everything's kind of changed in the last 15 years or so, but our job is pretty much those areas. And, you know, I won't belabor the audience or you with all this, but that's basically what we try to do.
Tell us about your staff and how they assist you.
All right, we have 4 people. We're like everybody else. We've had to, as people left, we've not replaced them. At one time we had as many as 8 people on our staff, and we did a lot of other things that we think were important, but you know, everybody has to tighten their belt when the economy gets tight, and it is tight. So we've got 4 people. I have a young lady who's been with me for 15 years. She started at the front desk. She started answering those questions that I was talking about. And it took me the longest to get her to take a promotion and move into as the operations vice president. Leslie is her name. She is the sweetest thing in the world. She's been there a long time. She knows everything that's going on. Leslie Stevens. Then I have a young lady named Carrie Griffin, and Carrie was in the communications field. And then we were able to hire her, and she takes care of the marketing and those types of things. Riverfest is a big project here. Mm-hmm. I know most people know about Riverfest.
Yes.
The 2 of them are staff people in making this thing work. They're the ones that do the grunt work. They're the ones that, you know, Carrie does a lot of the deciding and help on where we place ads, on public relations that we do, and then Leslie keeps up with the money. Carrie, in addition to that, she works with the members. If somebody joins the chamber, we want to make sure they get at least they get enough back in advertising and publicity, then they would pay the first year. I mean, we can get them through the first year. We can say, this is what you're going to get. Then after that, we try to figure out other ways that we can help them. When you have a diverse membership like we do, sometimes you have to jump from one thing to the other, but that's 2 of them. Then I have Lisa Huey, who's my membership and retiree development person, and then the last one is Melanie Clayton, and she's the person at the front. When somebody comes in, she has a bubbly personality. She takes care of their deals, okay?
That's a good one. Tell us this, Mr. Quinn. Why is it important that a business become a part of the chamber?
Well, I'll say this, I'll try to answer that with two things. From a small business standpoint, they don't have the financial wherewithal, and many times they don't have the person on staff that can help them with some of the problems that they have. Small business, I know this because my wife is a small business owner, okay. And you kind of get running from one place to the other, and if you have an organization that can provide you with information, which we do, and provide you with opportunities to hear about new things that are happening and new ways to run your business, it helps. We promote our businesses in a big way. We really believe that small business is important, and if you look at it, small business has the more difficult time when you get into a recession or you get into hard times staying there. The larger ones, and I mention these names because they are large. Walmart's, the Hobby Lobbies, TJ Maxx. A lot of them in the chamber, but they are big enough where they have their own department. So we try to fill in some of the gaps where so that person can concentrate on what he or she is doing, and that we're always there for them. That's one of the reasons. The other part is, in a community, it's real important that you have some spirit, some kind of a feeling about it. You know, it's like, you know, in a church, when you have a church, if the people there are caught up in it and they believe in it and they work hard in it, it makes your job a lot easier.
Yes, it does.
And that's what we try to do. We try to get people to feel good about this area. The tendencies that you have, and I have lived around, we talked about that a little bit before, the tendencies you have is that the longer you live in a place, the more you take it for granted.
Yes.
The longer you go to the church, the more you take it for granted, okay? Yes. So we try to make sure that people are not taking this community and all the things we have for granted. This is a blessed community if there ever was one. Now we've got to figure out, well, we've got to figure out how to use the river, Nakalula Falls. You know, we've done K-Moore and some of the others have done wonderful jobs with the downtown, with the First Friday. But there's so much more to do. And I have to add this. In our community, and we cover the whole county, there are 11 incorporated municipalities. So we're working right now, for example, with Atala. Atala at one time had a real strong antique presence. They have a lot of antique stores over there. So we're working with them to try to move that along, add art to it, and take advantage of, for example, they have so many highways that go next to them or close to them. So if you look at Interstate 59 and you look at all the hotels that have been built out there,
yeah,
we have to create some business for that part and that side of the county. We work, the chamber pretty much helped. We put the Rainbow City Chocolate Festival together. It is now theirs. It's theirs. We wanted them to. They have ownership in it, but we started the very first one. We wrote the proclamation that the governor signed, creating this. So that's a way that we try to build pride in each of these communities. And you know, we still got a long way to go, but we're working with them.
Thank you for that. You just told me a couple of things I didn't know.
Well, I hope I can tell you some things that you didn't know. Sure.
Yes. One other thing I wanted to ask you. What effect would you say the Riverfest would it have on this community?
Well, Riverfest is two things. First and foremost, it is a matter of pride. I think instead of, you know, all of the, we were kind of hiding a light under the bush for a long time here. We had the two big plants and people didn't have to worry about anything, and they didn't. You know, most of the time we take everything for granted. We do it in all organizations. And I think when Riverfest came along and as it has grown, I know that people don't like, they have to close the street down and they go around and we get calls about that. Yeah. But overall, this has opened us up to the rest of the world. You would be surprised at the stars that we have in here, and people now say, "Oh, Gadsden, that's where you have Riverfest." So I think it's having a positive impact. It's a lot of hard work, and we have about 300 to 350 volunteers a year that help us. And some of those people have been there for at least 15 years or longer. Wow. So, you know, and it has an economic impact too, so
Yes.
that part's great.
Yes. The part you just mentioned, it has opened us up to the world.
Yes, it has.
That's big time.
I know.
Oh, that's big time. The county has made a big change
Yes.
since you've been here.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. It's that I got here at a time where things were things were happening.
Yeah.
Some things were happening that were good, some not so good. But what you try to do is learn from the things that are not so good and push or promote or make sure that those things that are good get pushed out further. We have a brand new tourism board with a brand new tourism director. I call him brand new. He's been here a year. And we have the wherewithal with Nakalula Falls and the river and some of the downtown and some of the other things we have to make a very strong tourism area out of this. And tourism dollars are great because people come in, spend their money, then they leave, and you don't have to provide all those services for them.
Yes.
And trust me, when we go out of town, and you know this, we pay huge lodging taxes.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Those are the kind of things that I think are happening that are good.
Can you tell the viewing audience something about the falls? I think Nakalula Falls is something very special.
It is special. It is. We're the only one that I know of, and I've heard we are the only one that is inside of city limits like that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I see coming with the falls. This is just my thinking.
Yes.
Nobody's told me this, but
Yeah.
you know, it brings a lot of people in from a short distance, and it brings a lot of local people up there who have a lot of fun, and it is a beautiful thing. I would like to see more emphasis on putting. We need a restaurant. We need to make sure that the water flow is even. You know, it sometimes in October it's a very small amount of water going on there, and that affects us. I can remember, and I won't digress much, but I can remember having a busload of people from Ohio that came in, and I promised them we'd take them to Nakalula Falls, and so help me. This was during about 3 years ago when the drought hit us.
Yeah.
There was no water whatsoever coming, and I know those people thought, well, I've heard a Chamber of Commerce exaggeration, but that's ridiculous. But there's so much that can be done up there, and I think we're on the right track now, and I think you're going to see piece by piece by piece more and more things that happen that are going to bring visitors in, that are going to spend the night and leave their money with us. And it will still be a place that local people can go.
Yes. I had a friend that went up there last Sunday, the 22nd of this month, for their morning worship.
Yes.
It's not a small church. First Baptist of Alabama City, Dr. John M. Woods. And they said they had a fabulous time up there. So I would encourage pastors to consider that. Go to Nakalula Falls, church picnics, church outings, worship experience up there. I love the falls. That's all I can say about it.
Well, that's one of God's gifts to this area, and we need to make sure that we understand that those kind of natural things that happen, those natural parts of nature, are to be taken care of. At the same time, they ought to be used to His glory, and that's what I see more and more of that happening where people are. I know that Deleith Reeves has a big. I think it's around Christmas. Is it Christmas or Easter, one or the other?
Yeah.
That he has a choir up there. And all of those things are great.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you our time is just about up, but very quickly tell us what you see the future for Gadsden Etowah Chamber.
I see a very bright future. I think that when you're in an area where you don't have to do a whole lot, and we didn't have to do a whole lot for a long time because we were not the typical agrarian economy. We had the big industry. And I see us now in a changing, we're changing things. We're beginning to explore opportunities that will bring money and people in here and a different type, a more diversified type of economy. And that's what you need. You don't need to be dependent on one or two things. That's what I see in the future. I think Gadsden, although it went down in population, it used to be one of the largest cities in the state. Right. I think in the next 20 years, I won't be running the chamber then, but in the next 20 years, you're going to see a lot of great things happen here. Because we have so many resources that all we have to do is just tweak them a little bit, and they're going to bring people in.
Thank you. Tom Quinn, the director of the Gadsden Etowah Chamber of Commerce. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Quinn.
Thank you I really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for coming. We'll be right back following this. A word about Gadsden Lemon Brace, providing the very finest in artificial limbs and braces. They're located at 305 South 4th Street, downtown Gadsden. Call them at 1-800-936-0064. Gadsden Lemon Brace, 305 South 4th Street, downtown Gadsden. Welcome back. I'm Pastor Reeves, Carly Reeves. I want to say a word about Attala. Some of you know that I pastor Friendship Baptist Church at 709 3rd Street Northwest in Attala. But there's something very special about Attala that some of you might not know. Antique shops are all over the place downtown. That special something that you could be looking for, you might have been looking for. Try downtown Attala. I'm an antique buff. I love antiques. I'd love them. So I'm saying to you, they didn't pay me to say this, by the way, but I've been paying attention since I've been there in Attala. Go to the antique shops in Attala. The farmer's market is available to you every Thursday. Go there. See what they have. See what they have. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Now a word about Friendship Church at 709 3rd Street Northwest. Tuesday at noon. Tuesday at noon. Each Tuesday we are on our spot in prayer. In prayer for those of you that are sick and shut in. I talk to you all the time about homebound ministry. Sister Green, Mary Green showed up at church Sunday. I was so excited to see her come back. We have Sister Ruby Wise. We are still in prayer that the Father would touch, heal, and deliver her from whatever her ailment is. I believe in divine healing. I believe His word. He said in His word that I am the God that healeth thee. And we must understand that and respect that. And Sister Betty Jenkins, we're praying for her. Sister Alma Bowley, we're praying for you too. May the Lord continue to bless each one of you every step you take. We call your names in prayer. There's Sister Rose Isaac there also that had not been doing well. We're praying for you. I believe I've covered everything. Denise, you're not ill, but you don't feel so good every once in a while. We have you in prayer. We have you in prayer. Prayer is it. We must maintain contact with our Father in heaven. My time is up. This is Pastor Reeves of the Friendship Baptist Church in Attala. Worship with us Sunday morning at 9:30 Sunday School. 11 o'clock morning worship. Enjoy your blessings.